It's 5 o'clock. So I'll call the Barron County Board of Supervisors for Monday, May 18th, 2026 into order, and have a roll call by checking that you're present. Okay. So we have 28 present, and Jamie McCready, Supervisor McCready is absent, and she was excused. Is that right, Jess? Oh, Jim isn't here yet? Okay. Okay, so we've got 27 present and 2 absent. Okay, public notification.
Everything was posted according to Wisconsin open meeting laws.
Okay. Our invocation will be by Pastor Sue Idall from the Bethany Lutheran Church in Rice Lake.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for your presence among us as we gather this day in the service of the people of Barron County. We are grateful for the gift of community, for the opportunity to work together, and for the responsibilities entrusted to this board. Be with these leaders in their discussion and decisions. Grant them wisdom, patience, and understanding that they may serve with integrity and care for the good of all. May your presence bring peace to this room, clarity to every conversation, and a spirit of unity in all that is done here. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are you taking the special matters, Jeff? Yeah. Okay. Okay, item number 4, special matters, and Jeff will take care of that.
All right, we have a number of them. So item number 4A, on the bottom of your agendas for committee meeting notices, you'll see highlighted in yellow to please respond as to your availability to attend those meetings. Please call the number on the bottom or call the clerk or my office so that we can make sure that we have a quorum for the meetings. Item 4B, my executive assistant, Wendy, must know by Friday, May 22nd, that's this Friday at 9 a.m., whether or not you plan on attending the annual conference in September. Those dates on that, I can give those to you. That's in, I think it's September 20th. Give that to you just a second. It is September.
It's 20th, 22nd.
Yes, it begins on Sunday the 20th and ends at noon on Tuesday the 22nd. So please let us know so we can reserve a block of rooms. It is at the Kalahari Resort this year. Next year it's in La Crosse. Be aware of that. We'll take item 4C here in just a minute. The dairy breakfast is June 6th. Supervisor Kuslik, do you have enough volunteers?
No, I'm still looking for a few, mainly at the 9:30 shift. So let me know if you're interested in helping.
Yep, thank you. Yes, please let Supervisor Kuslik know. Updated county board timesheets will come out from Sabrina or the clerk's office shortly after we know what committees you serve on. With that, Tim Evenson, if you're in the room, you're going to give us an update on the Sallyport.
Yeah, I'm pleased to say that the Sallyport is completed and we occupied it last Tuesday. So everything's working well. We're waiting for the final bills to come in, but we're pretty sure it should be coming under budget. So we weren't necessarily on time, but we should be under budget. So everything is working well and working good. So if anybody would like to see it, just give me a call and I'll arrange a time for you to come through.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right. Item number 5, approve the agenda. Motion by Supervisor Cook, second by Supervisor Turcott. Anybody have any concerns with the agenda as laid out? Seeing none, let's vote. Okay, 27 yes and 2 absent. Thank you. Number 6, approve the minutes of the April 21st, 2026 meeting. Motion by Supervisor Bukowski, seconded by Supervisor Jenkins. Does anyone have any concerns with the minute? Oh, there is a change, sorry. On page 2 of the minutes under public comment, when Dennis Rochelle talked to us about the intersection, it says the intersection of County Highway D and 18th Street in the town of Barron. Well, 18th Street is County O, and it's actually Highway 8. So the minutes should reflect it's Highway County 8 and 18th Street.
US Highway 8.
US Highway 8 and 18th Street in the town of Barron. So it's the same thing. You put them both slash if you want to. Scott and Dennis, are you okay with that change? Okay. Any other concerns with the minutes? Not? Let's vote. $27 yes and 2 absent. Thank you. Public comment. We've got a little difference here that Linda Zilmer is scheduled to speak. She filled out one of our things. Can I have that one? Well, that's okay. But when I know Linda, she doesn't live in Barron County and doesn't pay taxes here. She actually lives in Washburn County, but she's up on a lot of things regarding government and especially wake boats. And so she actually sent us and in our rules and procedures says you can't speak in public comment if you don't pay taxes here or you aren't a resident. But Linda did send an email requesting to speak in public comment and gave us some background information on it as well. And the back of our sheet doesn't say that you have to own property or be a resident. So what we're trying to stop here is, Madison and San Diego and DC people coming here with agendas that we can't do anything about. Well, this is something hopefully we can do something about. So I'm inclined to allow her to speak, and then we'll have to adjust our rules to be in compliance. I'd let her speak unless somebody on the board here wants to challenge that and have a vote on it. Okay, seeing none, thank you. Yeah, Linda, you're up. Just, Frankie, you show her how to turn the mic on there and just state your name and address then, Linda.
I think this is on already. Thank you. My name is Linda Zilmer. I reside in the village of Birchwood. However, I'm a fourth-generation property owner in the town of Edgewater on Lake Chautauqua, which is the headwaters of the Red Cedar watershed, and I live on Big Birch Lake in the village of Birchwood. Obviously, a long investment in family in the community, and as most of you know, a lot of our tax base are residents on lakes. And your county conservation department is probably helping lakeshore owners with shoreland restoration and trying to prevent damage from wave action and other things. I'm speaking to you tonight, and thank you for accommodating me because I didn't know your rules. I would have not tried to circumvent them. But on your agenda item number 10, I have been working on wake surfing issues since probably 2017 when towns in Sawyer County first started adopting their own town ordinances. State statutes do not allow counties to do boating ordinances on lakes, and so it's up to towns. And we've also been following whether it's the individual or the state or the countywide lake organizations like the Washburn County Lakes and Rivers Association and the Sawyer County Lakes Forum, of which I'm a board member, but I'm speaking to you tonight as an individual. We have been following the previous legislative session where there was an introduced bill that favored allowing wake surfing activity in a shorter distance from shoreline, and it did not accommodate depth. Since that first bill and the bills that were introduced in February of 2026 at the end of this legislative session, there have been 2 studies done by St. in St. Anthony Falls by University of Minnesota, and it shows that anywhere from 500 to 700 feet from shore is probably what you need to be for those kind of waves that are created for that activity. And probably you shouldn't do it in any shallower than 20 to 30 feet. So of all the bills that were introduced in this last legislative session, Assembly Bill 1033 was the one that was opposed by, I think, just about everybody except for industry representatives. It started off at 200 feet from shore. It was amended to 300 feet from shore. It didn't make it through the legislative session. After that one was introduced, there was AB 1024, and I believe that one was 500 feet from shore, 20-foot depth, and all these, the first bill, 1033, was silent on local control. 1024 had provisions for local control. A problem with local control is your DNR and your county sheriffs will not enforce local ordinances. That's why we need legislative action for state bills so that the DNR and our county sheriffs or rec officers can enforce. So I talked to a number of Barron County businesses on Saturday. They are opposed to this. I don't know if any of them contacted you, but if you get behind any bill, 1024 is preferable, but many lake associations also agree that that one does not go far enough. So thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Linda. And what we'll do is, under item number 10, our resolution, we'll explore the things that Linda's talking about in our discussion about that. So before we make a decision on that resolution, and hopefully our representative might hang around till then. Dave? All right. Okay, thank you. Item number 8, presentation from the Horton Group on 2025 and 2026 self-funded health insurance plan results. Tim Horton with the Executive VP and Sales Consultant with the Horton Group. Hi, Tim.
Tim Deaton. Good evening. Again, Tim Deaton with the Horton Group. I am here to go through kind of the state of the health plan here in open session. So if you go to the next page on the agenda here, I'm going to start by reviewing last year's plan performance, and then I'm going to do year-to-date 2026. We're going to review the 2026 renewal projection and then the plan changes that we put in place for this plan year. And then what I also included was a 2027 renewal timeline, just to kind of show you where we are, when you'll see me again, and kind of the next steps that we'll have as we go forward into the 2027 renewal. Next page, please. Thank you. I know we've got a lot of new members here today, so I'm going to acclimate you to this report. This is our loss ratio report. It's a one-page report that really has all of our self-funded cost, variable cost, enrollment, our rates, and then at the end, it really shows you how the plan is performing, you know, at any time. It's got a lot of good key indicators, but I'll walk you through this. We'll go from left, top left, across the top. So we'll start here, so we have the report parameters. So our medical administrator is Anthem's network, and we have PBA as our third-party administrator. They pay the claims. Our prescription drug vendor is Carelon RX. That is an Anthem company. So we have Anthem also for our prescription drug coverage. Our reinsurance carrier last year was Anthem as well. Our specific stop-loss deductible, so when you're self-funded, you have a retained risk at a certain level. Barron County used to be at 50. We moved that up to 100,000. That means we have $100,000 of retained risk for every member on the health plan. That seems pretty scary, but not everyone has, you know, a lot of claims. So we manage that with stop-loss. Our coverage, our contract is a 1218, meaning that any claim that is incurred in a 12-month period, so January to December, we have till the following end of the next year's June to get those paid. It's a very strong contract, and we've really reaped some benefit of that because any claim that's late in the year doesn't get paid until January. So having that run-out contract allows us to get additional reimbursements, which helps the health fund. In the middle, on the upper right, or in the upper column here, or row, these are our fixed fees. So we pay Anthem an administrative fee of $45.88 per employee per month. PBA for their administration of our health plan, which they pay claims and do EOBs and customer service for our members. We have $32 per employee per month. And then we've got specific stop loss on an employee premium level and then a family level. And then after that, we have aggregate stop loss. We've got an umbrella policy where if claims got kind of out of control, and these are claims that are under the 100,000, stop loss reimbursements don't count toward the aggregate, but that will be an umbrella policy to protect the plan as well. After that, we have employee transplant and family transplant premium. So if we ever have a transplant, we have a fully insured policy that takes that off of the plan. So again, we're reducing risk by having that policy in place. The stop loss vendor gives us about 8% discount for having that in place because we're removing risk from them. Lastly is gene therapy. We pay $4.75. We get coverage for 21 gene therapy drugs. They range from anywhere from $850,000 to $4.5 million for the cost of the medication. That's a first dollar coverage, so it removes that risk from the health plan. So those are all the fixed fees that we have. The next box over on the top row is just the funding rates. So we have employee only and family funding rate, and those will factor into our loss ratio calculations. Now, if we go into the middle section here, this is where all the fun happens, right? Those are tiny little boxes. I'll go across on the top with the fixed fees. So we have medical administration as the first box, and along with our premium discount share, that gets paid to Anthem. The next column there is stop loss and gene therapy premiums, and that's totaled for each month. The other box is Samaritan Fund. That's another program that we've put in the last 2 years where if people qualify, Samaritan Fund will help them find an individual policy. They'll also source funding and through their foundation to get their out-of-pocket and premiums covered. It's a pretty nice program. It's there to help people when they have a serious medical condition. So we've enlisted them to be part of our program, and we do have one individual that took advantage of that. The next is the transplant premiums on a monthly basis. And then the next column would be just the total fixed cost for each month. Next to that is going to be the variable cost. So we have medical claims, again, doctor visits, hospital visits, surgeries. Next to that is prescription drugs. The next column is OptiMed. This is another cost-saving tool that we put in rather than buy our specialty drugs, you know, on a retail basis. We worked with OptiMed, who was a direct to consumer pharmacy. So we're buying those on a wholesale basis, and it's saving us about 40% on those medications. And just an average cost, I think, for our specialty drugs for a month can be anywhere from $17,000 to about $30,000. So we're saving some nice money there. The next box is Rx and Go, another saving program which your members have gravitated toward. I'll tell you, your members are great. Any program we put in front of them, they will partake, and it's awesome. Rx and Go does generic medications, and again, we're buying it wholesale and getting a much deeper discount. The members, they get that medication for free by participating. So it's a win-win. We get to access lower cost, members don't have cost share, and everybody, you know, is better for it because our costs are lower for that. The next in red column is reimbursement, so stop loss. Any member that goes over that 100,000, we get reimbursements on. So you're going to see those in red. That's on a monthly basis. I will show you that we had $4.4 million in stop loss reimbursements. That's a pretty big deal. We pay about, I think, 1.7 in premium. So we had a rough year on high cost claimants, and we'll talk about that in my next agenda item later in the evening. The next column in the variable cost is pharmacy rebates. We get rebates from Anthem on the pharmacy from the manufacturers for our drug utilization. So we get about almost 200 grand there. The next column is all those variable costs added up on a monthly basis. We add that to the fixed cost. That gives you the next column. That gives you total plan cost. You'll see enrollment as the next headline there. So we basically take the enrollment, multiply it by those funding rates to give us our total plan, monthly funding rates. Next to that, we give you a loss ratio. The loss ratio does not include stop loss reimbursements. So those are gross claims without stop loss reimbursements factored in. So you're going to see a lot of numbers over 100%. That means we were running higher than budget. But if you go down to that lower right-hand corner, our overall loss ratio for the year was 103.3, which equated to about $246,000 over budget. But based upon the year that we had, that was pretty telling. That means we had a lot of high-cost claims, and we received a lot of reimbursements. On the bottom, we've got key indicators, just our average employee, average employee spouse, employee child, and full family enrollment, and then our total enrollment. In the middle, we have total plan cost at that 7.6 million. Our plan funding was at that 7.3 million. Again, our dollar difference was in the red there, and it was $246,000 over budget. And then we have some fixed variable cost on
That 246, that's what we, basically, the deficit we had for the year 2025, and that would come out of the fund balance, and it
Right.
kind of shows the importance of having a fund balance there to take
yeah.
that stuff.
Fund balance is critical. That really kind of takes the ebbs and flows, because in self-funded, it's 1 in every 5 years seems to be a little rough, and you might get two of them, but that's what the reserve fund is for, to kind of weather those tough times and not put the county in a deficit situation. Fixed fees on a per employee per year, variable fees on a per employee per year, giving us a total cost on a per employee per year of $27,928. Any questions? I know it's go ahead.
Supervisor Olson?
Can you talk about the monthly loss ratio for each month is really well over 100%, but in the end, it's 103. Can you explain that?
So what we did was we added up. We didn't factor in the reimbursements, so those ones in red. So we're not accounting for $4.4 million of reimbursements, but we didn't want to show you a false loss ratio. We wanted to actually show you what your experience was. And again, we've had some rough months there, but in the end, stop loss really saved the day. Good question. Let's go to the next slide.
Oh, Shelley, or Supervisor Efforts, I mean?
Yes, I'm just wanting to try to understand. You talked about for that $200,000 over, and there was a fund. was that on here? Was that on here?
That is not on here.
No.
That's
Okay.
the county's health fund that, I don't know if we got that.
It's about 3.9 million that it's on the account, our books. So we've accumulated some overages over the years, and we put some initial balance in there. So we're about 3.9 right now.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that I was up to it. All right, thank you.
All right, next page, please. This is year-to-date, so it's the same information, just updated with the funding and fixed rates for 2026. You're going to notice that our overall loss ratio is at 107.9, and our monthly average is about 130, so we're still running a little bit of a fever. We did have, some large claims in January, but we got reimbursed for those. But as I was talking to Rachel, we're about 140,000 over budget. But if you remember, we put Oakleaf in last year, and we're paying Oakleaf, 123,000. That's accounting for that 143. So we've had a couple of high-cost claimants, and then we've got the Oakleaf cost for the direct primary care. Now, at the end of the year, we're going to really see that kick in for savings. Right now, the members are probably saving more than the county, only because they're the ones that don't have to pay the out-of-pocket. But once they would hit the out-of-pocket, if you remember, and we'll get into this in my next agenda item, but, the county paid about $800,000 in direct primary care services, and we were able to save about $377,000 by doing this, but it'll take us 12 months to get there. Any questions on year-to-date?
Supervisor Cook?
I just have a quick question. So on the Samaritan project or whatever it's called, can these high-cost claimants go on that at any time? Or is that something that,
Yeah, it's only if they have a qualifying event or they're in their open enrollment period.
okay.
All right, next slide, please. This is just our renewal projection. We've got a whole nother page with our actuarial formula, but just wanted to recap. We did claims and we averaged it out for 3 years and projected it forward with trend. So we anticipate, 2026 as being about 19,000 per employee per year on the medical claims. Our administration, with the increase that we received there, is $399 per employee per year. The network access fee to Anthem is $238 per employee per year. And then we pay an RX fee of $28.60. All these are going to be on a per employee per year. Our specific stop loss, we did switch carriers, saved a bunch of money at $7,786. Our organ transplant at $267. Amwins gene therapy, $57 per employee per year, giving us a grand total of $27,780 per employee per year. Our projected budget came in at that $7.6 million. Our 2025 budget was at that 7.4. So we installed a 3.12% increase to the funding rates and to do we increase employees' premiums? I can't remember if we did that or not.
I don't think we did,
I don't think we
Rachel?
did.
We just had plan changes. I don't think we did any employee increases.
You're right. Any questions on that?
I have a question.
Supervisor Patty Anderson?
I just have a question. I'm looking over this and it's per employee, and so some of these things you might never use, but how is pregnancy covered?
Pregnancy is covered under the claims.
Oh, so it's just like.
It's like all of our costs kind of built into a renewal projection, and we kind of break it out so we can kind of show you how it impacts it. But it's all factored in. So your claims are going to be your RX and prescriptions, and then any medical related expenses that are covered by the plan. Next, there you go, thank you. We had a couple plan changes. We increased copays on the primary care and specialist was at $20 for each for primary and specialist. We went to a split copay, a $30 for primary and a $60 copay per specialist. And we did this for a reason. It wasn't the big savings for us. We wanted to do is create a little bit more cost differential between the direct primary care and, the going to your regular doctor, just to create a little bit more steerage. We did increase urgent care, and it was at 20, and urgent care obviously is much more expensive than primary care. So that went to 75. The good news is, as part of the direct primary care, they also service urgent care. And in my next agenda item, I'll go into detail of how we're doing, and we've got some great utilization, with the Oak Leaf Clinic. Lastly, we saved about $377,000 by putting in the direct primary care if we could get people to use it, and we're having great utilization. So the grand total of what we are projecting for medical savings at that $387,000 added to, our $231,000. It's about over $600,000 that we either saved or we increased the budget by. Next page, please. Timeline, and this is primarily going to be for Horton and kind of the way we interact with Jeff and Rachel, but we're going to have a pre-renewal in July. We'll receive the dental renewal. We'll start marketing, the stop loss and all that in August. We'll do evaluations with the county. I mean, the next time you'll probably see me, I usually attend an executive committee meeting maybe in late August, September, and then I'll come back to the full board with recommendations, and that's usually late September or that October meeting, depending upon how stop loss shakes out. Once we get that all decided and we agree on how we're going to fund the program, we go to open enrollment. We work with Rachel and get all the information out to the members. And then lastly, we finish off the open enrollment by, getting the members the summaries of benefits and coverage, which is check the box for the ACA. Any questions?
Thank you, Tim.
All right, thank you.
Okay, item number 9, resolution authorizing the funding for and creation of a single jail position in the Barron County Jail. This will require a 2/3 vote, which would be 20 members to pass this. It does have we'll have to amend the 2026 budget for this, but it does have a limited effect because we're not really hiring a new person. We're just moving them around and giving them a little more money, about a $10,000 effect or so on that, so. There's a motion by Supervisor Bob Anderson, seconded by Supervisor Cook. Does anybody have any questions on this? Okay. Good? Okay. Yeah, if this software keeps working like this, we're gonna get somebody else. Okay, any questions? Okay, if not, let's vote. Scott? Okay, Audrey says yes. Mark? Yep. Yes. Scott, are you yes? Bob's yes. Okay, so that's unanimous, 27 yes and 2 absent. So thank you, everybody. Okay, item number 10, the resolution in support of Assembly Bill 1033, regulation of wake surfing. As has been pointed out here in this, wake boats are creating a lot of havoc on some lakes, and we're trying to get some regulation on it, and a lot of townships and other people have tried. I believe the legislature's had, what, maybe 6 bills over the last couple of years, Dave, and they don't get, they either die or they don't get voted on, they don't get passed. So what's happening is that the WCA is trying to lead an initiative, like they're doing the same thing with transportation, that if we can get, there's 72 counties in Wisconsin, 71 are part of the WCA, Dane is the one that's not. And if we can get the majority of the counties to go along with the resolution we're proposing, as weak as it doesn't have all of the provisions it should have in it, but if we can get a majority of the counties to do it, then it will go to the WCA Steering Committee, WCA Resolutions Committee, which I'm on, and ultimately the WCA Business Meeting at the annual conference. That way, if it all passes through that, I mean, I hope it does, well, then that'll become part of the WCA lobbying platform. They will pressure our legislature to make some kind of ordinance to try to control the wake boats. A lot of people have called me and said, Louis, you know, just like Linda Zilmer had pointed out, it's not strong enough. The DNR has made the comment, we're not going to enforce the depth. And that's an important part of it. They're ripping up the bottom of the lakes, but they're not going to enforce it. Dave knows better than anybody that they've tried to push this through, but the lobbying for the recreation industry is very strong. And so we're trying to get, I guess the initiative we're trying to do is get our foot in the door so that we can at least get some kind of regulation on the wake boats, and maybe it's a start, maybe it's the end. I don't know the answer, but I don't really have any other solutions or heard any. If you, Dave, do you have anything more to add to that?
Well, I can add from the standpoint of, I don't like wake boats, all right? I've got a little 16-foot Lund with a 50-horse Mercury on there. Gets me exactly where I want to go, doesn't get me there very fast. The one thing I can't stand is when speedboats come flying by at 30 miles an hour and swamp me. So I don't like wake boats, all right? But when you get into the legislature, the studies are all great, all right? But you got to get down to the point of, here's what I want to get done. What can I get done? Big difference between those two things, all right? Because you got to negotiate with all the stakeholders. You got to negotiate with the department. You got to negotiate with the governor, all right? All that was done. All 3 sessions I have been there, this issue has been there, just like one other one, ROFR. Hate ROFR, hate wake boats, because they're the 2 issues that don't go away, okay? So in this case, I wouldn't mind if there was an all-out ban on wakeboarding. Can't do that. They tried that in the 90s with the jet skis, found it was unconstitutional. What you can do is you can limit wake surfing, the product of the board, all right, pulling you around. The DNR said specifically, and we had meetings ad nauseum on this because it's, again, one of those issues that won't go away. The DNR said they don't want a depth description, so that would be the one thing that if you want to get the DNR on your side, get them to do a depth, accept a depth. If they came to us and said, here's the depth we want, we'd probably say yes, more than likely, okay? Because again, I have no vested interest in wake boats, don't like them, all right? So you've got to get to the point where what can I get done versus what do I want to get done? In all the discussions that went on, and the hearing for wake boats was the longest hearing of this session. I think it went on 9 hours, 8 or 9 hours for a hearing for it. Very passionate, I understand it, okay? And so I've had people, not many, how could you vote yes for this? It's the only bill that made it to the floor. I know what went on behind it. I know all the negotiating with the governor's office, what went on with the DNR's office, what the DNR said that they could enforce, what they wouldn't enforce. I voted for it, okay? what you're doing is you're doing a resolution just to WCA. You're not doing it to everybody. You're telling WCA, we're in support of this because this was a deal that was struck next year. That doesn't mean next year there's going to be a different deal struck. There very well could be, because it'll come back up next session. So there could be all kinds of new restrictions put in next year depending on the makeup of the legislature. So that's kind of my thing at this point. I think it's fine if you tell WCA, get on it, guys, because WCA, the Counties Association, has a very effective voice in the Capitol, all right? Just as effective as the wake boats. So if you instruct them to get on this, they'll come up with, again, messaging towards the elected officials down there and saying, here was what we want. So that's kind of what went on this year. It's, yeah, I'd like to ban them. I can't ban them. So, and also the one thing that was mentioned here, this one's silent on local control. It was made silent on local control for a reason. It allows it, doesn't say you can't do it, and doesn't say you can do it. So there's nothing in the bill that the Assembly passed, which is 1033, that limits local control. The DNR told us point blank, if you go beyond that local control, they'll approve it, but they're going to warn you that you're opening yourself up for lawsuits. So that's kind of where we sit, both sides. I mean, I'm either or on this. Again, why did I vote for it? It's the only bill that made it to the floor.
Okay, we should acknowledge that we have a motion by Supervisor Langman and a second by Supervisor Bukowski to pass this resolution. And we have continue with discussion and questions. Supervisor Cook.
Well, again, it's not perfect, like any bill that's getting started or the bill that the Assembly voted on, but it's a start. Right now, the only difference between a wake boat and a speedboat is nothing. And so we have to have something. This is better than nothing. It's a starting point. And to do nothing means that they can continue to do what they're currently doing. So I'm in support of this resolution, and I think we move it forward and let our legislators do what the legislature does.
And thank you, Dave. Supervisor Bob Anderson.
Being on the Rice Lake District, we've had numerous people come in that are lakeshore owners. This is eating away at their lakeshore. The waves are just too big. The difference that, I'm not a boat owner, but the difference between a speedboat and a wake boat that I can hear about is when they take in the extra weight of the baffles on the boat, it creates 3 to 4 times the wave that a normal speedboat would create. That's why they're able to hang off on their wakeboards. Sorry, I'll swim, but I'm not a boat guy. But the waves that are coming in are hitting so hard, Yackham Point and a bunch of other places in Rice Lake, it's eating not inches of shoreline, but feet of shoreline. Then all of a sudden they go to the DNR and ask, well, can we get permission to put in some riprap, good size riprap, so the waves have something to splash on and not eat away their shoreline? And I'm not a lakeshore owner, but it sounds like that's an act of God for them to give you permission on that. Sometimes it's easier to do the work and then wait for them to come and talk to you and say, well, I'm sorry, and leave it there. I don't promote that or disapprove, you know what I mean? But it sounds like that's what's happening. But this is eating away not just at the lakeshore, but when it does take the lakeshore, now that mud, that slurry and everything, because Rice Lake is a river, that's just the way that it works. It's moving all of that granular downstream. And that's causing even more of a problem all the way down to Tainter Lake when it finally turns green down there and you can walk across the lake. Something does need to be done with this, but we've talked with law enforcement. There's no way that the rec officer from the Sheriff's Department or the DNR can be on every single lake all the time to handle this, even if you had teeth in it to be able to cite these people. There's the ones that buy the wake boats, they cost, I guess, an enormous amount of money, they're enjoying it. Yeah, it's probably fun, but it's eating away at shoreline. It's destroying other people's property, somewhat similar to what the jet skis were doing at one point. The Rice Lake District puts out no wake or slow wake, slow moving they just run over the buoys. We're losing more buoys than what we can afford to even put out there. So I don't know what the answer is, but I'm in favor of anything moving forward to try and put, not restrictions, but some containment or
Some kind of rules,
boundaries,
yeah.
right, on this. So just thought I'd share.
Supervisor Vaughn.
I've been contacted by probably 4 or 5 people regarding this, and I haven't heard anyone that was in support of this for various reasons. It didn't go far enough, or it wasn't enforceable, or, you know, several different reasons. And I talked to Representative Armstrong, and this bill is already dead. It can't go anywhere anyway, as I understand.
Right.
So I'm not sure why we would support a dead bill.
What we're doing is more, if you look at the back of the bill, resolution supporting, it's got A, B, C, and D. It's really telling the WCA and trying on a format that all the counties, if they pass this, it's similar, telling, like Dave was explaining there, telling the WCA, we'd like you to lobby for this with the things we have in here and get some new legislation next year. So that's all we're doing is advisory to the WCA. You know, the WCA can't do anything. All they can do is talk to our legislature, but the WCA is a very, very strong lobbying entity, as Dave mentioned. Supervisor Turcott.
I sit on 3 different lake districts, and Sand Lake, and what we're not talking about is that they've imposed their own ordinance and it's effective because they've had people either leave the lake or start educating them. So that's the part that maybe the most effective part right now will be the local lakes, the local areas passing their ordinances to help. And they're doing some of it, whether it's right or wrong, public shaming, where they go out and talk to these people. So we have to start somewhere, I agree, and yeah, it's a good start. Is it perfect? No.
Supervisor Wentz.
Yeah, and now that I understand the gist of the resolution, or the resolution to advise WCA about wakeboards, I'm going to speak not just for shoreline homeowners, but also for wildlife on our lakes. I spent approximately 20 years of my life studying loons as my research. And I can tell you, I've seen people in Alaska and Michigan and Wisconsin take their motorboats, jet skis, wake boats, whatever those are, and attempt to run over loons with them. It's not just the direct targeting of those birds that's troubling and very difficult to take care of, but the wake itself damages loon nesting habitat, and loons are already kind of on the edge here in northern Wisconsin as far as the population health. So if we can do anything in the form of advice to WCA to, lobby for stronger legislation regarding wake boating, wake surfing, I'm all in favor of it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Supervisor Patty Anderson.
I live on Bear Lake, as you know, and just this past Saturday, our Lake Association had its annual meeting, and this was a big discussion. And so I was able to send some of the information that we had before for this to them, and we talked about it. Our lake does have our own regulations, and we do enforce them. Like you kind of said, you talk to the people once they dock their boats, and the loons are a big deal on our lake too. So I think you need to bring it back to governing your own people. And if you want to live on the lake, you follow the rules of the lake. And this, I think, sets ground rules going forward. It's something to work with in the next legislature session. So anyway, that's all I have to say.
Any further discussion or questions? Not, let's vote on that resolution. That passed with 26 yes and 1 no and 2 absent. The no was Supervisor Vaughn. So, okay, on item number 11, zoning ordinance amendment, rezoning the town of Barron, Scott and Brenda Schoburn, owners. Motion by Supervisor Jenkins, seconded by Supervisor Heller. Any questions on this zoning amendment? Not, let's vote. Dana and Bill Schradel. Are you guys yes? Yeah, Dana's yes, Bill's yes. Okay. All right, so that's 27 yes and 2 absent. Thank you. That amendment passed. Zoning ordinance amendment rezoning, Town of Chetek, Jay and Kelly Olson, owners. Motion by Supervisor Cook, seconded by Supervisor Jenkins. Any questions or concerns there? Not, let's vote. And that passed, 27 yes and 2 absent. Thank you. Item number 13, zoning ordinance amendment rezoning, Town of Maple Grove, property owner, Town of Maple Grove. Motion by Supervisor Guselik, seconded by Supervisor Eby. Any questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's vote. I'm starting to get it now. Passed, 27 yes, 2 absent. Thank you. Item number 14, a report from our county administrator.
Good evening. Item number 14A, the Wisconsin Counties Association WCA Annual Conference Resolutions. I will be forwarding 3 to them. The Sustainable Transportation Resolution approved by the County Board, the MS-ISAC one, asking the state to step in and recreate what the federal government no longer does. The federal government no longer supports that. And also the 1033 wake boats. Those will be sent to them hopefully by the end of the week. And that will be then go to them for their consideration. Items 14B and 14C, I'd ask the clerk to make them future agenda items. The quarterly financials for the first quarter of 2026 and the management discussion and analysis for the 2025 audit report were in your packets. Michelle is not available this evening, and she will make that a future agenda item, and she will go over those with the board. I will mention for anyone, item 14C, the MD&A is the single most important financial document prepared by the county. Item 14D, this was prepared by Jen Jaco. She made it considerably more in depth than I wanted, but that's okay. I just really wanted to concentrate on the fact that when you look at, we're putting about $1 million into aging ADRC. If we cost avoid just 35 people from not being in a nursing home, we've broke even. And I can tell you, having had 2 parents in assisted living and a nursing home, she says $10,000 a month. It's more than that. So that's just important that we tell our story. What we do by having the kitchen that we have and the services that we provide saves the taxpayer a lot of money, because 75% of all the people in a nursing home in Wisconsin are Medicaid funded. So if you figure that out, if you're at $120,000 a year, figure that out. Okay, appointments. Any questions on that? Appointments are in your packet. The list is complete. I'd ask you to approve them. And then the strategic plan work group is meeting next Tuesday at 1, and that was just separate because that's just a work group, and that'll probably end in June or July.
Okay, so item number 15 will include both 15A and B unless somebody disagrees with that. But if not, I'd like a motion and a second to approve those appointments. Motion by Supervisor Heller, second by Supervisor Eby.
Oh, yes. That's it. Thank you, Jess. it says in your packet that we have a community development block grant committee. We don't, and the reason that we don't is the state has taken back all of that money. We're slowly giving all that money back to them. So that committee no longer needs to exist. If for some reason we would have something, I just call a special meeting. I'd ask the chair to call a special meeting. So yeah, so that's the only thing I
Well,
had.
you'd have the community development block grant not be part of this.
Correct, it's not part of this. It'd
Is that
just be
okay,
struck.
Supervisor Heller and Supervisor Eby? Okay. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, let's vote. Audrey and Stacy? Stacy said yes. Audrey? Yes. All right. Okay, they both said yes. That passed, 27 yes, 2 absent. Thank you. Claims, number 16, claims, petitions, and correspondence. Good. Item number 17, suggestions for future agenda items.
Okay, so on item number 17A, we'll start the tour of the government center right in this right in this room on May 28th at 1 p.m. Then we'll go from there. We'll go to the waste energy plant. The tour of the Justice Center and highway facilities, that's on June 10th at 1 p.m. We'll talk about, we'll send an email out, but I believe we're going to start at the Justice Center, Jess? Is that where we're going to start, is the EOC room? Yes, at the EOC room. Yes, they'll be paid per diems for this. Yep, this is part of the new board members and any board member that wants to come to learn about what's going on, especially out any of these. You need to come, where there's a lot of things happening. Then we'll add the quarterly financials in the MD&A for future agenda items, and then we will be having a special county board meeting at the request of the strategic plan. We'll review the rules and procedures, and then we'll go over the next 5-year strategic plan, which is really getting down, probably the last meeting next Tuesday, 1 o'clock.
So that'll be a special board meeting, it'll be separate from this
June.
one.
Yep, June or July. That's all I have.
Okay.
When is that meeting, Louis?
We don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Supervisor Wentz.
Yeah, I have a question about the tour. I'm sorry, cough drops. The tours, will we be asked to RSVP for those, or
No, if you
just show up if we are interested?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Vaughn.
This meeting for next Tuesday, we're talking about a week from tomorrow or tomorrow?
No, we're talking, the strategic planning work group is going to meet next Tuesday at 1,
A week from tomorrow.
a week from tomorrow,
Okay,
the
thank you.
26th at 1.
Supervisor Olson.
Should have asked this earlier, but the RSVP, can we do that by email as opposed to a phone call
Are you talking about for the annual meeting, or for the annual conference?
for the committee meetings?
You do a regular email. Yeah, what's happening, we just want to make sure in every committee one that we have a quorum, and if nobody lets us know they're not coming, we could be stuck with not having a quorum for our meeting. So that's why we're asking people to respond. If you, yes or no, can you make it?
I understood that. It's just a request a phone call, and I've been doing email and make sure that's acceptable.
Emails are
Okay.
good. Okay. Yep. Okay, then number 18, 2025 and 2026 self-funded health insurance plan results from Tim Deaton and the Horton Group, Vice President, Sales and Sales Consultant. So, Carolyn, you want to read
Or I can read it.
or you want to read
All
it,
right.
Jeff? All right.
The county board of supervisors may go into closed session pursuant to section 19.851F for the purpose of considering financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data, or considering specific personal problems or investigation of a charge. We're going in for medical on our claims, so we need to vote.
There's a motion by Supervisor Eby, second by Supervisor Efforts to go into closed session. Supervisor Eby made the motion, Supervisor Efforts made the second.
John, Jeff, Rachel, Tim, that would be it. I can just take minutes in closed session. Yeah, can you shut the screen off?
Okay.
Yep.
We didn't vote.
Yeah, I know we gotta
vote.
So then, nothing, okay, let's vote.
Can you just be outside and I'll come get you? Okay, super duper.
visit a veteran's grave, you will put the penny there, and that tells the family that they have visited the grave. Now, my challenge to you all is, once you do your penny, then you come to Lana's on a Thursday and you sign the board that you visited the grave and left a penny. So that's all I have to say.